viewers wonder why the ball is overthrown, or why is it short, or why can't he hit that guy out in the open. But if you could have seen number 50, Billy Ray Laughlin, faked all over Wally Gaber at the time he was throwing that football, I'm sure you would understand why.
So man will kick again as the Argonauts cannot advance the ball for a first down and 2 plays. He stands at the goal line for the snap from Alan Ray Aldridge. Lifts a good kick. Down to Tommy Grant, Hamilton 40. And from 45, he is rocked on an immediate first tackle by Chuck Lebron. The punt traveled 58 yards. Just over a minute to play in the third quarter, and Hamilton is trailing by 9, 30-21. Ticats with the ball, 46-yard line, their own first down. Christian, 72, set to the left. Fleming, wide right. Flag throw. Smith gets a couple. The flag is up, and there's a flag down with that last play. It's Sagan, number 28, talking with Ellison Kelly and Joe Zuger, indicating offside Toronto. Hamilton's decision is to accept the penalty. The walk-off is 5 yards to the 51, from where the Tiger Cats will be first down and 5. Clock shows 56 seconds of play remaining in quarter 3. Christian to the left. Willie Bethea inside the 35 at the 33-yard line, met by Arends and Dye.
Bethea on that off-tackle belly series has been so effective for him all afternoon, is picking up good yardage before he's tackled down by Dye and Arends, and that's the play early in the first half also that number 22 Smith scored on a pass play after the fake.
The gain was 26. Hamilton first down. With nowhere to go at the 36-yard line, Dave Fleming takes a loss. He will lose 3 yards, 2nd and 13 coming up. But Hamilton's running game has been authoritative today.
We saw number 27 in there. That was an indication of a safety blitz. Marvin Lester, the safety man, coming in and making the tackle after the initial contact by 59 Wadsworth.
4 seconds on the clock. This may be the last play of the quarter. Lester has Zuger for a loss at the 50. As the gun sounds, at the end of the third quarter, the score is Toronto 30 and Hamilton 21. We'll have more CFL playoff action after this message.
Have fun with Ontario's top-selling ale, the That's 50.
Enjoy yourself. Take 5 or 50 ale. Enjoy yourself. Cool 5 or 50 ale. When you say, I've got a red-flag person in Ontario where they ought to know 350 comes in first.
Move with the 50 crowd. Today, that's an invitation to enjoy Ontario's top-selling ale. The That's 50 is the big number that pleases most people.
Enjoy yourself. Take 5 or 50 ale. Enjoy yourself. Cool 5 or 50 ale. Then you know why this one leads the rest. In Ontario where they ought to know 350 sells the best. 50!
If you're enjoying this game, well, there's much more CFL activity to come as these playoffs continue east and west. Tomorrow, Edmonton versus Calgary to settle the finalists against Saskatchewan in the Western Conference. And then the winner next Saturday against the Saskatchewan Roughriders on CBC television, full network in color, from Taylor Field, Regina. Third down and 25. Tiger Cats at the 48-yard line. And Tommy Joe Coffey is being called upon to attempt a 55-yard field goal from midfield. Zuger holding. It is short. Copeland at the 4. At the 12-yard line, Copeland is brought down by 3 Tiger Cats, led by Biedrowski and Kelly. And the score is unchanged. 30-21 it remains in favor of the Argonauts. And Dave Beatty was a little bit slow to get up on that last play, but is all right.
Looked like he was kind of walking around there on eggs for a few minutes, but Dave's a tough boy, real tough defensive football player, and, it's hard to shake him out of that game.
From the 12, Argonauts first down. Simon. Lateraling back to Dillard. And he's out at the 41. Laughlin finally got to Jim Dillard. The gain is 29 yards.
This was a very alert play by both Dillard and Simon. Simon's running the ball very well, gets hung up, throws the ball back to Dillard, and Dillard runs very hard to pick up that extra yardage, knocked out of bounds by number 50, Billy Ray Laughlin.
Dillard is wedged at the 44-yard line by Wilbert Scott for a gain of 3. 2nd and 7 to come. The Argonauts have been the dominant team since the late minutes of the second quarter when they regained the lead. They were ahead by 27-21 at halftime. They've added a field goal in the third quarter to make it 30-21 the way it stands right now. It is picked off by Teddy Page at the 52-yard line. A big defensive play for Hamilton.
There's a play. Teddy Page alert on this one. The ball is a little high. Irwin goes up, has it momentarily, and Teddy Page scoops it up just before it hits the ground. Very alert football played here today, Don.
13:25 left. The Tiger Cats must start a drive and get some points if they want to go on and meet the Ottawa Rough Riders in the Eastern Final next week. Goodell. For Coffey, tipped away by Dick Thornton. And Learn takes a quick trip right over the back of the Hamilton bench, but he's all right.
Joe Restley trying to pull everything in his bag of tricks today. Billy Riddell's going out of the ball game now, but I would imagine whenever he's in there, you're going to have to watch for that option, pass and run type of a play. It's a must now to maintain possession of that football for the Tiger Cats and get a first down.
2nd and 10, Hamilton. Christian out to the left. Double strength right. Bethia hit by Aldridge and downed at the 54-yard line by Wadsworth.
Marvin Lester, the safety man, the free man, coming up and playing sort of like a short linebacker, plays his play very well, and you can see his movements coming over there to see that screen is a good hit to help Alan Aldridge on that screen play to Willie Bethia.
3rd down. Ed Learn, 6-yard line, is out at the 8-yard line. They've been playing this game as much on the track, Bernie, as they have on the field. 48 yards, that punt. The Argonauts have it first down at the 8-yard line. They need some ball control now to run out the time and retain this 9-point lead, 30-21. 12 and a half minutes remain until full time at C&E Stadium for sudden death Eastern Conference semifinal game. Taylor to the right. Prophet is the right end. Irwin left. Gabler gets a block and is down to the 14-yard line by Gord Christian. The gain is going to be 6 yards.
That was sort of a strange play, Don. I don't really know whether that was a planned play for Wally Gabler to run or not. He faked the two big backs and came out to that side, running the ball. It was a good football action. You know, the quarterback should never lose possession of the football inside his own 5-yard line, and perhaps maybe Gabler wants to hang on to it there.
2nd and 4. Motion left. Prophet, 21-yard line, first down. Scott made the tackle.
Wally Gabler got up pretty slow on that. John Barrow was on a mad dog rush and caught Gabler just as he had thrown the ball to Prophet. You might notice that Wally Gabler is throwing shorter passes and trying to have ball control here now to run out the clock.
Jim Dillard, big opening. Hanson with a stop finally at the 53-yard line.
Dillard, after a couple of good blocks and following in behind Bray, number 57, who knocks Richardson down. We were talking about Dillard not showing as well as before, but look at him run now.
There's a timeout on the field at the 4-minute mark of the fourth quarter. The score, Toronto 30, Hamilton 21.
Let's swing it for Ontario's top-selling ale, Labatt's 50.
Enjoy yourself. You're drinking with the best. Enjoy yourself. Your brand has passed the test. Yes, 50 ale. It now leads all the rest. In Ontario, where they have to know, Big 50 sells the best.
Every day, more and more people are moving to Ontario's top-selling ale because Labatt's 50 has the flavor more people enjoy. Shouldn't you move with the 50 crowd?
Enjoy yourself. You're drinking with the best. Enjoy yourself. Your brand has passed the test. Yes, 50 ale. It now leads all the rest. In Ontario, where they ought to know, Big 50 sells the best. 50!
Bill Simons has rushed for 151 yards in 14 attempts today, and Jim Dillard 102 yards in 12 carries for the Argonauts. Out they come. First down. This time Simons has little or no gain. Dave Beatty, number 70, containing him at the 52-yard line where he might have one. Hamilton with the lead in the early minutes, 14-0, but it soon vanished. 30-21 right now for Toronto. Gabler to Simon. And he reaches the 47-yard line, but will be short by 4.5 of the first down.
That was a safety valve type of a pass, Don, and Gabler had to get rid of that ball. Billy Ray Lockwood, number 50, was coming in from the outside, and nobody touched him. Nobody blocked him. He had a straight beat on him.
10 minutes to play, man to kick. Dave Fleming returns the ball to the 17-yard line. The Tiger Cats have a long way to go if they want to mount a comeback here in the last few minutes at CNE Stadium. Fleming returned it 13 yards. The kick traveled 48. It is dark here in the fourth quarter, late afternoon in Toronto. Almost like a night game now. The Bethia. Gets across the 20 down at the 22-yard line. He's going to have the better part of 5 yards. Lean 70, Metcalf 69. Stopping him for the Argonauts. 9:18 with the clock moving. That's the amount of time remaining in this game. Fleming, 21, to the right. Christian and Coffey to the left. Alan Smith gallops for a first down at the 29-yard line. These running plays can be effective, although there's still a fair amount of time remaining, Bernie. It is time-consuming if you run the ball a lot.
That's right. They waste the time on the clock with a little over 8 minutes left in the ball game, and the Tiger Cats are going to have to move that football and going to have to score big.
Fleming. A loss of a yard at the 28-yard line, ridden out by Ed Learn, number 15. And Learn has been one of the better Argonauts defensively in this game. To indicate just how much the Tiger Cats have emphasized running, they have thrown for only one first down in this entire game. Christian has it knocked away by Jimmy Dye.
Don, that was the finest defensive play as I've seen in a long time. Jimmy Dye is not as big as Christian number 72, and I'm sure Christian thought he had that ball right in his hands. Jimmy Dye reached in and knocked the ball down. It was a very fine defensive play.
With the result that the Tiger Cats are 3rd and 11 at their 28-yard line, and again must give up the ball. Zuger gets it away. No yards as Learn scoops it up at the 45-yard line. Bob Story was in a little bit too close as Learn charged the ball.
Here's the play. The ball is low from center. Zuger runs around, tries to get it off, being held by number 25, Thornton at the time. The ball is picked up, and there's no yards called. Don, that's a strange happening on a punt. This puts the ball in very, very critical territory for the Hamilton Tiger Cats after a couple of penalties, as you have seen down there in the field. With possession, on the 20-yard line, the Toronto Argonauts.
No yards and rough play. 25 yards total in the walk-off to the 20-yard line. First down for the Argonauts with 7:53 and the clock moving remaining in the fourth quarter. Smith and Taylor set left. Bobby Taylor has it tipped away by Dewey Lincoln. Interference ball. And the Tiger Cats are irate.
Here's the play here, and we'll see it. That play was very, very close.
It is called illegal interference against Lincoln of Hamilton. The ball goes to the Argonauts on the 7-yard line. First and goal to go, and Joe Rustick is, to put it mildly, upset. Almost intercepted back there. Riddell. Taylor was the intended receiver. It'll be 2nd and goal to go now.
Don, that interference called just a while back. It was so close that it could have possibly been gone either way, but one thing we have to remember is that when the ball is in the air, it's a free football, and it's free for both the offense and the defense. And if both people are going up in the air at the same time for that ball, there's no way that can be called interference.
Taylor's that's right. Up and down. Simon. Just to the line of scrimmage and no more. But a marker had been thrown at the 5-yard line before that play was completed.
With injury down there on the sideline, Don, for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. I can't see who it is.
Argonauts were offside, and it's been declined by Hamilton. Riddell, evidently, is the injured Hamilton player, Bernie, right off the sideline.
There's Scotty Wright over there, and Jimmy Simpson, the Hamilton Tiger Cat trainers, to look after Billy Riddell.
There's a pretty fierce contact down there with Simons groping for whatever yardage he might be able to pick up. Riddell seems to be in considerable pain as the training staff attends to him. Perhaps Ernie Afghanis will have a report on the extent of that injury or what the problem might be in a moment or two. Now he's on his feet, making his way very slowly with assistance to the Hamilton bench over on the far side. Bill Riddell, Hamilton's backup quarterback and defensive halfback. Ernie, what's the story on Riddell?
Just checking on Bill Riddell, and I could hear him tell the boys that were helping him out that he's just rented. He says, give me a little time, I'll be okay, and I see that he's walking off well.
Good news. Third down, then. The ball's still at the 7-yard line when play does resume. Hamilton declining an Argonaut offside penalty with the last play. Take away the down that would have been repeated had they accepted. This will bring on Dave Mann for his 4th field goal attempt. He has been good on 3. Gaver to hold. And he has it. The Argonauts now lead by 12 points, 33-21. We've got 6.5 minutes of play remaining in the 4th quarter here. The Tiger Cats needing 2 touchdowns, at least 1 converted to get back on top and go on to meet the Ottawa Rough Riders in that Eastern Final, which starts next weekend at the home of the winner of this game. 35-yard line, 1st down, Zuger with the play. In and out of the hands of Tommy Joe Coffey at midfield. Second and 10, back at the 35.
Now it's getting very dark down there on that field, even with the lights on. It's very hard to see, I would imagine, and the ball is a little slippery from the sleep that's in the air.
Zuger has thrown 16 pass attempts and has been good on 6 today. Here's his 17th. Hits Beatty, who's down to the 47-yard line of the Argonauts. There was a marker thrown, though, at the line of scrimmage. And they're going to bring it back.
Zuger throwing to Beatty, though, number 70. That's the first time he's thrown to Beatty all afternoon. That big tight end is used primarily for blocking and for pass protection for Zuger. However, when he does get a chance to throw to him, Beatty's a pretty sure-handed receiver and a big man to run with the football when he gets it.
The frustration on Hamilton's part mounts. That gain wiped out by an offside penalty against the Ticats. Argonauts, naturally, delighted to accept. at the 30-yard line, 2nd and 15. Bill Riddell trying to shake off the effects of that injury at the Hamilton bench. Another flag thrown. The ball is tossed out of bounds.
Looks though the Hamilton Tiger Cats, again, an illegal procedure down there for putting the ball into play. Ellison Kelly, the offensive left tackle, left his three-point stance after he had indicated that he was down, and this is an illegal procedure.
It's been declined by the Argonauts. It's 3rd and 15. Again, you have a color set this afternoon. Don't adjust it too strenuously. The darkness of the picture is brought about by the natural elements here at C&E Stadium. It is a dark afternoon with the lights on. Even so, it's not very bright. Zuger's front. Ed Learn, 42-yard line. The Argonauts will put it in play there. Let's check with Bob Moyer.
Don, one thing about down here on the Hamilton bench, while it's rather miserable because the team is trailing by 12 points with only 5 minutes and 24 seconds to go, they're finding this heavy rain that has now begun to fall at the C&E Stadium much more difficult to cope with.
Jim Dillard, 47-yard line, collects 5. Page and Barrow were the tacklers for Hamilton.
5 minutes left in this ball game, Don. Wally Gable will try to run out this clock. Probably mix in the pass whenever he does need it, but if he can gain 4 and 5 yards of play, he'll run with it.
Simons, the delay is caught at the 46-yard line. He will lose a yard on the play. Bobby Krause, 14, defending for Hamilton. So with the loss, the Argonauts are 3rd down and almost 6 yards to go at the 46-yard line. They will kick the ball to Hamilton. 4:42 remaining. A wet, dark, late November afternoon. Tommy Grant, near the 20-yard line, is thrown down. Michael made the tackle. The loss on the return was 4 yards. The kick traveled 42. Hockey fans can watch the St. Louis Blues and Montreal Canadiens on CBC television. Hockey Night in Canada from the revamped Forum in Montreal tonight. Monday, the National Junior Football Final on the CBC television network. Next Saturday, we're in Regina for the first game of the Western Final. Fleming fighting for yardage near the 30-yard line is close to a first down. He may have one.
Don, the Tiger Cats are going to have to come up with a big play here. One of those big plays that we saw early in the first half in order to really get back in this ball game with only 3 minutes and 48 seconds left to go. They have to have that big scoring play to get within another touchdown to even to win this ball game.
Coffey and Christian left. Beatty set right. They draw. Fleming to the 33-yard line. A gain of 3. Wadsworth and Blue stopped in for the Argonauts. 3 minutes and 20 seconds remaining. 33-21, Argonauts lead. That's deflected out of the hands of Dave Beatty by Ed Learn, but it is an incomplete pass. And again, a familiar situation, 3rd down, Hamilton. There's a timeout on the field. At the 12-minute mark of this 4th quarter, the score is Toronto 33 and Hamilton 21.
When you're smiling, talk the Pilsner, the beer that smiles with you. It's the true one, root for you one, the lager that's true blue. Next time you order, just call for a blue. 'Cause it's the lager with the taste that is true. So when you're smiling, have a filter, the true blue lager beer.
Find people having fun, and you find Pilsner. It's Canada's true blue lager from Labatt's, with a great taste that stands by you round after round.
So when you're smiling, just say Labatt's Blue, the true blue lager beer. Do, 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 all for blue.
Don Chevrier with Bernie Filoni, Ernie Afaganis, Bob Moyer, our spotter Art Dutch, and statistician Ron Andrews. The final 3 minutes at C&E Stadium. Zuger, third down front to Copeland, 24-yard line. And he's back to the 30 where he's met by Bob Story. The Argonauts are 2 minutes and 50 seconds away from another chance to defeat the Ottawa Rough Riders, this time where it counts in the Eastern Conference Final. 53 yards, the length of that punt by Joe Zuger. Smith right, Taylor left. Dillard. At short side, he stepped out on the 38-yard line. He'll have a gain of roughly 8.
Dillard on that little quick flip is falling down, is blocking well. He's knocked out by Bill Riddell on that sideline play.
Bill Riddell, as he told Ernie, was just shaken up a few minutes ago and is back in defensively for the Tiger Cats. Again, that pitch to Dillard. All the way to the 47 of Hamilton.
Jim Dillard moving that football. Wally Gabler coming back with the same play as he called to Dillard on the previous play, and it looked to me like Dillard might have been able to go all the way with one more block there.
Dillard looks to be limping just a little bit. He got 25 yards with the play. Mike Egan, number 32, is in at flanker now. Simon has the ball and leans into the 40-yard line. Now mark him at the 41. The gain is going to be better than 5.
Simon's watching cut off that guard block on Billy Ray Laughlin to pick up that yardage up in the center there. Now the offensive units today have certainly put on a great display, both the Hamilton Tiger Cats and the Toronto Argonauts. And I'm sure that the fans that have seen this football game today are very, very pleased with Canadian football talent being displayed out there today.
That applause you heard in the background while you were speaking, Bernie, was for Bill Simons, out for a rest finally, and Copeland 30 is in playing for him. And Dick Thornton, too, with the ball. Thornton.
Dick Thornton, number 25, took over for Simons, but you notice on the play just previous to that, when Simons came out there, he cut off the block, and Thornton likes to get outside and dance around a bit. More reinforcements coming in, Don.
That's the field goal team for Dave Mann, or it could be just a straight punting situation, likely will be. Bill Simons with a big day for the Argonauts. His longest gain, of course, the 100-yard run for the touchdown that started the Argonauts back on their path to what appears to be a semifinal victory. And a kick. Aldrich to snap. It's a big punt away. And just getting out over the goal line was Dave Fleming to the one.
Wasn't much time left. I mean, there isn't much time left, 1:45. But here's a point, as to whether he should give a point to the Argonauts and put the ball out in better playing position, or gamble and try to get out. But there really isn't enough time left in this ball game, Don, at 1:45 to overcome this lead, unless something short of a miracle.
33-21, Argonauts lead. Clock moving at 1:38. 1:35 now. The 3 out to the 5-yard line. They're marking up to 4. The gain is going to be about 3 yards. Petrich, number 72, was the tackler. The Tiger Cats appear to be in their final 1 minute and 30 seconds of football 1968, the defending Grey Cup champions. Coffey at the 22-yard line, wrestled out by Jimmy Dye. That gives them a first down with now 1:14 to play. If this game is any indication of what the playoffs have in store for fans across the country, it's going to be an exciting 3-week countdown to Grey Cup 1968, which of course is played right here at C&E Stadium in Toronto. And that ball was very nearly intercepted. Grant McKee just failing to bring it in on the interception for the Argonauts. And it's second down at 10. Hamilton at the 22. Aldridge out to the bench now, getting a rest for Toronto. Tim Corbin, been used sparingly because of an early season injury, comes into play defense now in the waning seconds. 1 minute and 12 seconds remaining. The proud defending champions from Hamilton, the Tiger Cats, meeting more than they can handle here today, and the Toronto Argonauts. Argos showing the mark of a good team, coming from behind an early 14-0 deficit to take command of this game and control much of the play in the second half when they had to. Sugar caught for a loss at the 18-yard line by Bob Petrich, number 72. They're down and 14 for Hamilton now, as it appears their last chance to go downfield and score has expired. Giving the ball up on a punt for the Argonauts. We send Learn and Copeland to their 45-yard line to receive this kick from Joe Zuger. It will come from near the 5. Jimmy Copeland breaks one tackle. He thinks he's still in the field of play, but he was out of bounds away back at the 45-yard line. And the flag is up in the fourth quarter.
Looks like a dismal end of a season for the Hamilton Tiger Cats, but not really so, because they really played a fine football game today out there, really exerted themselves well.
Vic Thornton. He loves to run with the ball, and he gets near midfield. He's always hounding Cahill to use him as an offensive back. It's a little tough to work him in because he's a fine defensive player, and Leo just happens to have people like Simons and Dillon around. But we've seen him play in the last 2 minutes in situations such as this for the Argonauts in command of a large lead. 33-21, 40 seconds on the clock. Copeland across midfield. Bray mixing it up with one of the Tiger Cats, Bob Story, just for a moment there. His tempers have run high in this game because so much is at stake, of course. These teams have a natural rivalry, but really hasn't been renewed with vigor until this year. First time they've met in playoff action in 7 seasons. The yardstick crew comes out from the far side now to have a look at the attempt for a first down. Clock shows 27 seconds. It is a first down, Argonauts, at the Hamilton 54. Next Saturday from Taylor Field, the Western Conference opening game of the final series. BBC television will be there. Thornton. Flag thrown. Reaches the Hamilton 40-yard line. Holding is the indication.
As you say, Don, Thornton loves to have that football, whether it's from halfback or quarterback. And to be sure, if he comes in at quarterback at any time, the first play is a rollout, and he's going to run with it.
Holding was against the Argonauts. The ball comes back, as does Thornton's gain. At the 46-yard line. 8 seconds remaining.
You know, one thing, Don, that you have to be considered in this football game is the Hamilton Tiger Cat defense has been so great over the past years, and it looked like today that they were really so inept in trying to control the Argonaut offensive power.
Mike Even left. Smith right. This could be the final play. Copeland at the 40-yard line. Wrestled down by Mosca. And the Argos go to the Eastern Conference Final against the Ottawa Rough Riders. The game is over. The final score is Toronto 33 and Hamilton 21. We'll be back with our summary and the stats in just a moment.
When you're smiling, call the Pilsner. The beer that smiles with you. It's the true one, brewed for you. The lager that's true blue. Next time you order, just call for blue. 'Cause it's the lager with the taste that is true. So when you're smiling, call for Pilsner. The true blue lager beer.
Pilsner is part of today's lively life. It's Canada's True Blue Lager from Labatt's, with the great taste that stays true every time.
So when you're smiling, say Labatt's Blue, the true blue lager beer. Blue, 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 call for blue.
Well, there will be a new Grey Cup champion this year. The Hamilton Tiger Cats have gone down to defeat 33-21 to the Toronto Argonauts. The Cats have had their problems pretty well all year, and in this final game, of course, Bernie, they missed Garney Henley. They got Teddy Page back just in time for the game, but they seem to have had problems all season long, couldn't rectify them, injuries had bothered them, but you can't take anything away from that Toronto victory today because they did look exceptionally good. They looked like a championship team today, Ernie, because they were down 2 touchdowns, came back, and, well, they look like a great football team now. I think that Bob Moyer is all set now to talk to Leo Cahill, the coach of the victorious Argonauts.
Leo Cahill, you've reached the finals in the Eastern Conference and another crack at the Ottawa Rough Riders. I would hope that I would imagine you're very happy at that.
Yeah, I sure am, Bob. I don't know what to say. I think it was the greatest comeback I've ever seen in football. I just can't say enough about our boys, the way they played today.
Well, that 14-0 must have had you bothered just a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit, Bob.
What were you thinking at that point, Leo?
Well, I was just thinking if we could settle down and we could still win, and that's what happened.
Bill Salmons came through for you in tremendous fashion.
He sure did. If he's not the Shenley Award, there just isn't any justice.
What was the key? Was there any key spot in the game as far as you were concerned after that 14-0, of course, but any key spot after that?
I think one time that we came out from down inside the 10-yard line when we really had to control the ball was a high point in the ball game.
What about your quarterback, Wally Gaber? He received a little bit, not criticism, but people weren't too happy with some of his work against Ottawa last week, but today he was much better.
Well, we're very happy with what Wally has done. People expect miracles from him, but he's done a tremendous job for us, and I think he's progressed about as well as any quarterback I've ever seen in Canada.
Now, what do you look for from the Ottawa Rough Riders next week, Leo?
We look for just everything but the kitchen sink, and we're going to go in there a lot more relaxed than we have in the past, though, and not try to take away everything that they got, but play football against them, and I think we might be able to surprise them.
Leo, it's raining now and raining quite heavily. This might be an indication that bad weather is on the way. Will that bother the ball club?
I don't think anything can ever bother this football team again, Bob. This is the greatest comeback I've ever seen. I've never seen a football team ever get 14 points behind like that and have the momentum of the other team up like that, break the other team's momentum, and come back in such great fashion.
Leo Cahill, thanks very much, and good luck to you against the Ottawa Rough Riders. Leo Cahill. All right, Don.
Thank you, Bob. A very happy Leo Cahill, and incidentally, he is certainly going to be considered for Coach of the Year honors. He, along with Eagle Keys and a couple of others, have had great seasons, and it'll be interesting to find out November 18th just exactly who will win that Coach of the Year award. Of course, Leo has to be considered.
I'd say he's got a pretty good head start on him right now. He's done a marvelous job here in Toronto, and even though the Argonauts so far have not been able to beat the Ottawa Rough Riders, they've just about handled everybody else in the country, as we saw them handle Hamilton today with the final statistics. 21st downs to 12 for Toronto. They mounted a total offense of 566 yards against 378 for Hamilton. Much of that was rushing, thanks to Simons and Dillard, 327 yards. Gabler hitting on 11 of 24, although Simons threw one pass for the Argonauts. 7 of 20 for Zuger and Riddell, with mainly Zuger doing the throwing for Hamilton. Interceptions, 1 apiece. The punting averages 51 yards per man and 44 for Zuger. The penalties 58 for Hamilton and 20 for Toronto. Dave Mann had those 4 field goals, accounting for 12 Argonaut points. Well, I thought the big factor for the Argonauts was the way they were able to score points, Ernie, in the second quarter. They came up with a touchdown by Smith, again, and then the field goal by Dave Mann, a total of 17 points that pulled them up from what looked to be disaster, the 14-point lead Hamilton had built up in the early minutes.
Bernie, did you think that the Argos could pile up that type of an offensive record against Hamilton? When you look at how many yards they gained passing and running today?
Well, if you look at what they've done in the past, Ernie, they've been able to move the football but haven't been able to get across the goal line. So they had the potential there, and it had to break out sometime, and today was the day it really broke out. It worked well. One thing you have to really give them credit for is that they were down, and they did come back. And this is a mark of a fine football team, and they're going into a pretty good football team, too, next week with the Ottawa Rough Riders. This should be a real classic series, I think, down to the final wire.
And you can bet they'll be hitting. And it must be a little disappointing for the Hamilton Tiger Cats, being the defending champions, to lose out their title, and now they have to go back and think about it all.
Right.
Okay, our final score here at CNE Stadium is Toronto 33 and Hamilton 21. We want to remind you of the next telecast for the CBC, which will be the Canadian Junior Championship. And it will come from Edmonton on Monday afternoon. It will be the Ottawa Sooners and the Saskatoon Hilltops. That's Monday afternoon in color, coast to coast on the CBC network. The next CFL play will be 1 week from today. That'll be in Regina and will be the first game of the Western Final. That, too, will be in color on the Coast to Coast network of the CBC. Now, on behalf of our sponsors and the CBC Television Network, this is Ernie Afghani saying goodbye.
This portion of Canadian Professional Football brought to you by Labatt's Brewers of 50 Ale, Canada's fastest-growing ale, and Labatt's Pilsner, the true blue lager beer, the best in Canadian football from the best in Canadian beer.
This Eastern Conference semifinal playoff game, telecast live and in color on the Coast to Coast network of the CBC, was produced and directed by George Kent, with technical advice and supervision by Jerry Sokol.
has been a CBC Toronto mobile television presentation in color. This is the CBC Television Network.
Hi, everybody. Al Shaver with Jack Wells at McMahon Stadium in Calgary. And this afternoon, on this rather cool November afternoon, the Grey Cup champion Winnipeg Blue Bombers and the Calgary Stampeders come snoot to snoot in the first game of the Western Conference Final. A best-of-3 series to determine Western Canada's representative in the Grey Cup Final at Toronto 2 weeks from today. This is the second consecutive year in which these two clubs have fought it out in the final. Last year it was over in the minimum number of games as the Bombers took it 2 in a row. We're just about ready to have the introduction of the players. The fans still piling in. There are lots of them, and a close-to-capacity crowd is expected. Jack Wells standing by with the starting lineups for today's game. The telecast of this game between the Calgary Stampeders and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers is coming to you from Calgary.
Wherever a wheel turns, an age advances, a nation grows, you'll find industry setting the pace. And BA is geared to industry. From BA Petroleum comes energy to make things happen. Lubricants to keep things happening. From BA Petroleum, products and petrochemicals to help make new things happen.